Alright, so we're doing exercise 5b, and in this video I'm going to go through the answer to 6g. We are told that we need to sketch the graphs of each of the following relations stating the range of each. And we've been given for g, y equals 2x squared minus 3x plus 6. Now, I've broken this down into 4 steps. We're going to find the turning point, then my x-intercept, then my y-intercept, and then we will sketch it. So let's begin by finding my turning point, and let me zoom in here. To find my turning point, I'm going to complete the square. And we know that in order to complete the square, that means that my coefficient of x squared is going to have to be 1. But here it's 2. So I'm going to have to do something about that. I'm going to take 2 out and get x squared minus 3 over 2x plus 3. Next, I'm going to go y equals 2. Now I'm going to complete the square for this. So I'll have x squared minus 3 over 2x. Now, what I'm going to do is take the coefficient of x, which is negative 3 on 2. I'm going to halve it. So that's timesing something by a half. So I'm going to get negative 3 on 4. Then I'm going to square it, which is going to get me 9 on 16. And I'm going to plus that here. Now, you just can't go around plussing in numbers. So in order to ensure that this is balanced, I'm going to minus 9 on 16. And then don't forget the plus 3 here as well. Next, I'm going to go y equals 2. Now, hopefully you can see here that this is a perfect square. So I can factorize that rather nicely as x minus 3 over 4 squared. And then I'm going to still have this minus 9 over 16 plus 3 here, which is going to be minus 9 over 16. And in order to add these together, I'm going to put this as a denominator of 16 and go 3 times 16 is 48. Then close my bracket. Scroll down. So next I'm going to have y equals 2. I'm just going to keep this for the moment and just solve that bit at the end. So make sure you're writing everything down the same. Minus 9 over 16 plus 48 over 16. Well, I'm looking at my numerators. Minus 9 plus 48 is going to be plus 39 over 16. Close my bracket. Now I'm going to bring this 2 inside. So I'll have y equals 2 x minus 3 over 4 squared. And this 2 is also going to times to this. So I'm going to get, and I'm going to write 2 over 39 over 16. And hopefully you can see here, I could just divide my top and bottom by 2, so that will go away, and this will become 8. So let me just write that straight away. I'm going to get 39 over 8. Having done this now, I can tell you what my turning point is going to be. My turning point. It will be positive 3 over 4, comma, 39 over 8. 39 over 8. Perfect. So now we have my turning point. So let's now move on to the next part, which is finding my x-intercept. Now, we know that to find my x-intercept, I'm going to let y equal 0. There are numerous ways I could do this. I could take this and let y equal 0 and then try to factorize it. Or I could take this, put this here, and then go, all right, to solve this, I'm going to take my y, get rid of it, well, set my y equal to 0, and then try to solve it. And what we're going to find is something rather interesting. So I'm going to rearrange. So I'm going to minus 39 from minus 39 over 8 from both sides. Minus 39 over 8 equals 2 x minus 3 over 4 squared. I then am going to divide both sides by 2. So I'm going to get negative 39. So to divide something by 2 is the same thing as timesing it by a half. So I'm going to get 16 here, then get x minus 3 over 4 squared. Now, in order to get rid of this squared, I'm going to square root both sides, and this is where alarm bells should start ringing in your head, because you can't square root a negative number. If you were to do so if I was to go onto my calculator and go minus 39 on 8 and square root that, what's going to end up happening is my calculator is going to tell me maths error. So this isn't going to work. And this is my first clue that I'm going to have no x-intercepts. Now, if I'm going to have no x-intercepts, what does that mean? Do we remember when we were going through quadratics, what it meant if I had no x-intercepts? Well, if we come look over here, hopefully you remember this. This will be a blast from the past. My discriminant. My discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. And it's going to tell me how many x solutions I'm going to have. My b squared is going to be negative 3 squared, which will be 9. Then I'm going to have 4 times ac. A is 2, 6 is c, so it's going to be 12. So I'm going to end up having 4 times 12 is 48. So 9 minus 48, which is going to be equal to negative 39. And therefore, let me put my discriminant. Therefore, my discriminant is less than 0. So, therefore, no solutions. And this actually is going to make sense when we graph it. We know that my turning point is 3 over 4 and 39 over 8. And we also know that I'm going to have an upwards facing parabola because my coefficient of 2, my 2 here is positive. So let me now come to my graph and zoom out. So I know I'm dealing with, let me put in my turning point, which is 3 over 4 and 39 over 8. 39 over 8, so it's going to be about here. So it's going to be, whoops, it's going to be 3 over 4 and 39 over 8. And because it's going to be upwards facing, it's going to look like this. So hopefully you can see that I'm going to have no x-intercepts, but I am going to have a y-intercept. So let me get rid of those. And now I need to figure out what my y-intercept is going to be. So it's going to bring me to my third step here. To find my y-intercept, I let x equal 0. So I'm going to go, I have y equals, and I'm going to use this, 2, but instead of an x, I'm going to put a 0. And instead of an x, I'm going to put a 0 plus 6. So now when I zoom in here, I zoom in, 2 times 0 squared will just be 0 plus 3 times 0 is 0. I'm just going to get y equals 6. So that means when I come here, I can say that my y-intercept is just going to be there. So I could put that in as 0, 6. And now when I come to graph my parabola, it's going to look like this. Oh, might have to move it a bit. There we go. That's pretty good. So I have my y-intercept and I have my turning point. All right, so now we need to do the last thing this question requires of me, and that is to write in what my range will be. My range is going to be the set of all my possible y values. So let me get this color. I need to figure out what my range will be. So hopefully you can see that I start, my lowest y value will be 39 over 8. So that's where it's going to begin. And then I'm going to move up, 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 up. And hopefully you can see here that these are going on for infinity. So it's going to start at 39 over 8 and go on for infinity. Perfect. Just to make sure we've done everything correctly, let's just compare this to the back of the book, which we have here. So as you can see, I have my y-intercept as 6, my turning point as 3 over 4, 39 over 8, and my range is 39 over 8 to infinity. Hopefully this video was helpful in answering 6G of exercise 5B.